Hello, my name is Darian Scott, and I'm here to tell you why I started Sleep Phase Finance. Now, the reason why I started this channel is because I want to help people build a financial cushion for themselves. I want to make people more, more better off in life. I don't want everybody to always have to work. Now, if you could sit there and say, hey, I go to work once a week, boom, people say, why you go to work once a week? Don't you need the money to pay rent and all that? And then I would be like, no, I have passive income coming in and I can afford to work one day. And I only feel like working one day because that's how much I actually want to put into doing actual work. I mean, I like physical labor. I work at a warehouse now, good paying. But I don't want to work forever. My goal is to retire early. Like, I'm not trying to sit there and wait till the age of 60, 65. That's not for me. So I want to at least have all my income now. Not saying that black people can't live forever. There's a lot of black people that do live forever. Long, past 100 actually. I've met a few of them. But I want to be able to have my experiences now. So when I do, or if I end up kicking the bucket early, not saying that I will or will not, no one ever knows, I would have at least lived life to my possibility of being fullest. So I want to be able to have the income to only be able to work one day a month or one day a week, maybe twice a week. Give me something to do, keep me active, and then be able to live financially stable, free, just on passive income. Is that a bad idea? Does it sound bad? Do you want to work for the rest of your life? Some people are actually coming out of retirement just because their 401k plan was not enough. They didn't save enough. They cannot afford to sit there on their financial check after the age of 50, 40, et cetera, et cetera. So they have to go back into the workforce. And then some of them people, it's even harder for them to find jobs because they're so old. Not saying that it's hard for old people to find jobs, just saying that most people wouldn't hire somebody that's 65, that's walking with a walker and stuff like that. They'll look for the youngest person, the youngest, brightest person there. Not saying that old people aren't bright. Old people are pretty bright. They're brighter than current people. But some of them didn't believe in saving while they were young. And then when they did start to save, they started saving late. Like, I'm talking about once they hit their 30s, then they were like, oh, I'm not gonna have enough money by retirement. And then they start saving. And then once they reach that wall, they're not able to save as much as they're supposed to because they weren't able to start off early enough. Just saying, I don't want to go back to work. I want to finish working now. My goal, realistically, I would say realistically, my goal for myself is to retire somewhere in my 30s. So I'm 23, I think now. Yes, I don't care about my age because after a little bit, the only people that really care about your age is people that you buy alcohol from. I don't drink. Side story, but I did work in beer and wine and done a lot of other odd jobs here and there. So I've worked around alcohol, always sold alcohol, but not pretty much a drinker. But I know people that drink and hang out with them. I go get me a nice little sparkling apple cider just to make me feel special. But I want to retire somewhere in my 30s. I'm pretty sure. Ask in the comments below if y'all want to retire by the age of 30, or what do y'all think is a reasonable early age to retire if y'all have the chance to. Like, and don't sit there and say, oh, I'm gonna retire at the age of 20. Now, not saying that that's not possible, but that means you would have had to start since you were 5. Unless somebody started saving money for you, you wouldn't have the chance to. Like, literally, you can only start at 18 unless you get like an internship, like at one of these big time jobs, and then boom, bang, boom, you got what you need. You don't need a high paying job. You just need, what you need is a consistent paying job that pays you well enough to be able to live off at least 50% of your paycheck, or at least if you can live off actually 25% of your paycheck, that's pretty good. Not saying that you have to live super below your means, but you don't have to be super at the top. Sometimes people put themselves a little bit too high, and that's why they end up coming short. Like for me, I stay in a 4-bedroom apartment with 4 roommates. Was 5, but he had to get removed. So yeah, make sure you know who you're living with before you end up moving out with somebody, or before a friend stands in for them, because sometimes it will come back to bite you in the butt. Because now, I ain't gonna lie, we still can pay for the house, but just now it's like, oh, we got a little bit of chunk coming out of our extra chunk coming out of paycheck since we had to remove them. So there's that. But learn to know who you're gonna live with before it happens. Even though I did give warnings to everyone, I was like, this is not gonna work. But I give everything a chance at least once. Maybe everything a chance. Yeah, I want to help people get financially stable before they even have to be. Because then I'm pretty sure most of everybody out there has friends. I have friends, they have friends, but not everybody has the time to spend time with each other because either work gets in the way, or they're too tired because of work, or they don't have the money to go out with them. They don't want to feel like they're a burden on them. It's never happened to me, but I know people who's have it happen to them before. And if my video cuts off in front of this, that's because I ran out of battery power. And that's something that the world doesn't really need. Why do I invest? I invest for my future so I don't have to work for the rest of my life. Not for me. Working, overrated. I'll work, but I'll work when I want to. I'll work doing the things that I like to do, not what somebody else is paying me to do. Even though they're paying me good money, but I would still like to do what I like to do more other than somebody else's job that they want somebody to do. I invest so I don't always have to work, but I can work when I want to. So by investing, I put money into myself. Have you ever heard the story, give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day? Teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. That's the same with investing. Learning to invest will create wealth for a lifetime, whereas working a 9-to-5 just gets you through just that week or day. In the comments below, how do y'all feel about investing? Is investing something that y'all think that is right for you? There's not a specific quota that you have to be at. I mean, if you get paid a lot more, it makes it a lot easier. But even with less, you can still make a pretty good profit. You just have to turn up. You have to work hard. You have every day giving 120% and nothing less. Like technically, I'm going to say technically, I have 5 jobs. I work for a warehouse. I do delivery driving. I do the occasional beer or wine gig. And I do the occasional beer and wine gig for like more than one company at times, just to get a little extra income at the end of the month. And then from that, I invested. Now, that investment that I made makes me money every month at the end of the month. Well, depending on what days they give out, I get paychecks throughout the months that I get paychecks throughout the months that come up automatically from my investments that I don't have to worry about, that I can just recycle back into itself. I might take a little bit out for myself, but most of the time I don't have to unless there's a real emergency. Like, it's a lot easier. Like, there's a lot of people that started young investing that retired in their 30s and don't have to work no more. I want that to be me. I want that to be y'all. I want that to be all of us together. Like, if we become a group that has each other's backs and shows people there's nothing that can hold us back from achieving our goals of wanting to not have to work for the rest of our life, to be able to take care of our family, to be able to take like our families on trips and things and be like, hey, I took my mom and dad to the Bahamas, we went to Hawaii, next month we're going to France. Not saying I'm taking my parents to France, but you know, if I had the money, they'd be getting a nice little trip. Like, I would send my parents at least on maybe a trip maybe once a year, if I had the money. Don't forget to check your notifications so you can always follow along with our videos, or you can check off for occasional videos if need be. Please be sure to shoot us a message if you have any questions about anything in the video or anything related to the subject. Thank y'all. Enjoy.